Lanka before Ravan 5, the birth of Dashanan and meeting Kuber. In the last episodes of the Ravan Samhita series, we got to know how Asur Samrat Malyavan and his brother Sumali were defeated by Bhagwan Vishnu and had to leave Lanka and hide in Patal Lok to save their lives. Also, Bhagwan Vishnu killed their third brother Mali. Now the Rakshasas hidden in Patal Lok needed a savior who would restore the lost glory of their clan and also win back the throne of Lanka. Vishravanandan Kuber Ji was the ruler of Lanka now, after many years of Malyavan fleeing away from the kingdom, and this was a cause of worry for the Asurs. But they didn't know that destiny was bringing someone to them who would become famous as the greatest villain of the Hindu Dharma Granthas in the time to come. Due to the curse of Sankadi Munis, Jay and Vijay, the gatekeepers of Bhagwan Vishnu, had to live 3 lives as Asurs and also had to be slayed by the incarnations of Bhagwan Sri Hari to attain liberation. Due to this, many thousand years ago, Jay was born as Hiranyakashyap and Vijay as Hiranyaksh. Bhagwan Vishnu took the incarnation of Narsimha and slayed Jay, who was Hiranyakashyap, and took the incarnation of a wild boar, Varaha, to slay Hiranyaksh. Now, according to the curse, it was time for both the brothers to be born again. And their birth was about to lay the foundation of the greatest text of the Hindu Puranic philosophy, that is, Ramayana. After living in Patal for many years, Malyavan and Sumali were reminiscing about the old days which they had spent in Lanka. The wealth and prosperity of Lanka was attracting them time and again. One day Sumali couldn't control himself, and without caring for his life, he thought of visiting his dear city, Lanka. When Sumali reached there, he was enchanted by the wealth and prosperity. Under the rule of Kuber, he found today's Lanka much more beautiful and ornamented than the Lanka of his time. At the same time, Lanka Naresh was crossing from there in his Pushpak Viman, greeting his subjects. Seeing his magnificence, Sumali was stunned. Seeing the sun-like brilliance of Vaishravan, Sumali was even more amazed. At this very moment, he decided that he will marry his daughter to the same Vishrava Rishi from whom this great son was born. Only Kuber's brother would be able to acquire the throne of Lanka, and only he would be able to cross his brilliance. Thinking thus, Sumali returned to Patal Lok. Upon returning, Sumali called his beautiful daughter Kaikasi and said to her,
"O daughter, since childhood, you have seen the sufferings that your family had to go through after being defeated in battle by Vishnu. You look like Lakshmi and Shachi. Hence, it is time that you use your beauty to attract Maharshi Vishrava and marry him. You can obtain a son like Kuber, or a son even better than him, only from his father. I am giving you the responsibility of restoring the dignity and pride of the Rakshas clan. Your offspring will carry forward our lineage and restore the throne of Lanka."
Taking permission from her father, Kaikasi became alert towards her duties and left for Vishrava's hermitage to meet him. When Kaikasi reached there, Maharshi Vishrava was doing the Agnihotri sadhana. That is, he was surrounded by fire from all sides on a very hot day and performing penance. Seeing a brilliant and austere man like him for the first time, Kaikasi instantly fell in love with him, and due to her bashfulness, started drawing lines on the ground with her feet. After some time, when Vishrava stood up after finishing Agnihotra, he saw Kaikasi, the divine beauty, and for a moment he too lost his bearings. After looking at each other for some time, Vishrava asked her for her introduction. Kekasi replied, "O Maharshi, you are omniscient. With the power of your yoga, you can know my identity and also the purpose of my coming here." Saying this, Kekasi started smiling softly. After Kekasi said this, Vishrava started to meditate, and within some time, when he opened his eyes, he looked at Kekasi with surprise. With doubts in his heart, he said to Kekasi, "Devi, I have come to know that you are the daughter of Asurrat Sumali, and you have come here with the desire of an offspring. But our union will only bring darkness and destruction in your life. Since your blood is affected too much by Asuri power, children born out of our union will be very cruel, terrifying by their disposition and huge Asurs. Only our youngest child will be righteous and austere like me. If you accept this situation, then I can fulfill your wish." Listening to Vishrava Rishi, Kekasi was a little upset, but for the well-being of her lineage, she was ready to give the sacrifice. Thus, she agreed to what Vishravaji said, and both of them got married. After marriage, Kekasi gave birth to an extremely horrid-looking son. This terrifying Maharakshas son had 10 heads and 20 hands. As soon as the son, who was gigantic like the mountain, with lips the color of copper, sharp teeth, and shining hair was born, flesh-eating jackals, wolves with embers in their mouth, and vultures started going around in circles around him. The light of the sun was reduced. There was a rain of blood, and terrible storms started taking place. For a moment, even Kekasi was frightened at seeing her newborn child. Since he had 10 heads, Vishravaji named his elder son Dussehra. This Dussehra would become famous as Lankapati Ravana. After this, they had a son named Kumbhakarna, who was not only as terrifying as his brother, but was many times bigger than him in size. He was so huge that perhaps no Rakshas of his size had been born before in this world. After Kumbhakarna, Kekasi gave birth to her third child, who was a girl named Shurpanakha. And as Vishrava Rishi had said, she then gave birth to the righteous, benevolent, and beautiful-faced Vibhishan as her youngest child. During the birth of Vibhishan, the surroundings became calm again, and there was greenery all around. Devtas showered flowers from the sky, and the chants of "Sadhu! Sadhu!" were reverberating from all sides. Looking at his youngest child, Vishravaji was overjoyed. As Kekasi's sons were growing up, their tendencies also developed. Dussehra and Kumbhakarna were both very powerful Rakshas boys with cruel dispositions who had started creating a tumult since their childhood. There was no limit to Kumbhakarna's hunger, and often he ate humans, animals, and Rishi Munis venturing in the three loks. At the same time, Vibhishan's time was spent in studying dharma and learning to perform penance and control his senses. When some time had passed like this, Vaishravan Kuber came to meet his father in his hermitage. Dussehra saw his elder brother and competitor for the first time in his life. Kekasi came there, and pointing towards Kuber, she told Dussehra the purpose of his life for the first time. She told him how he had to be better than his elder brother in every way, and only then he will be capable of acquiring the throne of Lanka. Looking at Kuber, Dussehra was ashamed of himself. He didn't even think himself worthy enough to be compared with Kuber, and took an oath to become even more powerful and brilliant than his brother with hard work and penance. After this, Dussehra took both of his brothers and went to Gokarna to perform penance and impress Brahmadev. Would these three brothers be able to succeed in impressing Brahma? What are the divine powers which Dasagri wanted in order to get back the throne of Lanka for his mother and her whole clan? You will find the answers to all these questions in the next episode.